Come sail away with Sanctuary of Reality, my comic review series. Time now for Cerebus, issue 240, the 9th chapter of Going Home and the start of its subbook 2, titled Fall and the River. Literary elite F. Stop Kennedy waits on the docks of the Feld River in Moresh when he notices Jaka, whom he has met once before. She tries to pretend she doesn't see him, telling Cerebus to ignore him as well. We see an excerpt from Pleasure's Simple Life, his novelization of the events that we're witnessing. Jaka hurries onto the barge with Cerebus in an effort to avoid seeing the man that she tells her boyfriend is dreadful. But F. Stop ends up also boarding. Cerebus wonders what's so dreadful about him. And in turn, she relates the story of one of her Uncle Julius's parties, where F. Stop and his wife Gloria took all the guests' purses and wallets and made a stew out of them. Cerebus laughs, but Jaka is unamused. She continues to watch out for him out of her peephole, waiting for him to come out to eat. Meanwhile, F. Stop does exactly the same over in his suite. Soon, at lunchtime, Jaka tells Cerebus to get dressed up, which he reluctantly does, only for F. Stop to come out dressed casually, forcing Jaka to make herself and Cerebus quickly change. They soon head out to lunch, F. Stop pulling Jaka's chair out for her chivalrously, but Cerebus also expects him to do the same for him. After a long period of silence and drinking in the river view, F. Stop mentions a showing of the artwork of P. Craig Russell. How will Jaka react to this familiar name? F. Stop Kennedy is a parody of the writer F. Scott Fitzgerald, writer of quite a few books, and most famous being The Great Gatsby. One thing of interest, if you really want to do a deep dive into the research that Dave Sim did into F. Scott Fitzgerald, there is a section in the back of the issues and in the back of the phone book known as Chasing Scott, where he goes through a lot of text describing how he researched the F. Scott Fitzgerald's writing and general comments and observations that he made as a result. It's copiously detailed annotations and other digressions by Dave Sim that I happen to think are worth a read. Of course, I really enjoy stuff like that. I really loved Jess Nevins' annotations on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Those were required reading for me when reading that series so many years ago. But in this case, these annotations are more behind-the-scenes kind of stuff than actual necessary things that you have to read. So it's optional. So don't force yourself to read all the text in the back if you just want to enjoy the river ride, I guess. I personally find it to be a nice postscript to the reading of the main book, sort of a winding down after the book's main course. But if annotations aren't your thing, you're under absolutely no obligation to read that part. The story works perfectly fine without it. This is a very interesting issue. It's good and weighty. Jaka devolves into her recently suppressed aristocratic side when faced with somebody more along her line of class than Cerebus is. While she's being reactionary as a result, Cerebus is, in this case, the one with his head on straight, which is a very interesting change, Cerebus being the more mature one. I've never read any of F. Scott Fitzgerald's work, nor have I seen any of the many theatrical adaptations of The Great Gatsby, but I know just enough that makes this story work for me, and the portrayal of F. Stop Kennedy it actually works. The story does a great job of getting across the kind of person that he is. Cerebus acts as the sort of gateway to anybody that is not familiar with the character or not familiar with the person that he's based on. He acts as the unenlightened reader, and as a result, again, he's the more down to earth of the three that are in this issue. So it's a very unique take on a character that we know well. Next time, fun with Ginevra and Josan.